Episode 119 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Support the show at patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our supporter of the week is Renn Gaiser. We're also brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/wild for a free month and a free audiobook. Welcome back to episode 119 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am your host, Dilz, and joining me, Deagin.
Hey, how's it going?
So, it's only been a couple days. Overlapping from last episode, we will be talking about Jagex revisiting the Chambers of Xeric and some things they want to do to the very first raid that was introduced into the game. Deagin, you're probably excited about that one.
Yep.
As well as some boxing mechanics and lots of other fixes. But breaking news, Song of the Elves pull blog has been released today, so we will be going over that new quest. Maybe the gauntlet, who knows? As for some community chatter, courtesy to Simba on Discord, he had linked me an article that states, Jagex, up for sale as Chinese owner seeks to restructure. What does that even mean? Well, we're going to discuss more of that after all the devblog news. Anyways, Deagin, I know it's only been a couple days. Have you done anything?
Update on the coworker situation. He's been fired.
Actually.
Yeah.
That's exciting. What happened?
So they're kind of hush about it, but from what... It was actually super weird. Like, I came into work, me and like the other supervisor, we came into work, and we opened with our boss, and she's like, okay, well, this guy's been let go. And she didn't really say anything. She just kind of mentioned that he was fired. And I'm like, fucking called it. Come on. And then, just from what I've been overhearing and stuff, he does a lot of things improperly on purpose. And the way he does it makes it so he could easily just oh, well, we're going to be $80 short today, and then put it in his pocket. I don't know if he's actually doing that, but it really came off as that's probably what he was doing.
Mod Jet has infiltrated retail.
Yeah, but he was just kind of a shitty worker.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I got books.
Got some books? What books you get?
Got the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why?
So I'm trying to quit vaping.
True, right? Quitting vaping and Lord of the Rings kind of go hand in hand a bit.
Well, so I got Nicorette. I got the gum. So if my speech sounds different, it's because I'm chewing gum.
Ugh, that's terrible radio etiquette.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've, and I don't know, it helps a lot, but whatever. And then, mainly, at work and stuff, in general, I think it's good to, not take your lunches in your workplace, to, leave if you're able to. Just because, you don't really get a break if you sit in the break room.
Right, okay.
I don't know if you guys have, noticed that, but, if you just, sit in the break room and you're on your phone, I noticed, working, that other job that I don't want to talk about because it was awful. Even, doing construction and stuff, and then this job... If you're around your coworkers that either aren't on break or are also on break, they kind of just bug you unless you're friendly with them and shit, right? You're actually friends with them. And it's kind of annoying where be on break, I have my headphones in, so I'm maybe I'm listening to music, but hey, if the phone rings and I don't pick it up, it's because I can't hear it because I have headphones in,
Yeah, classic. It's a classic move.
Mm-hmm. But then a coworker will ask you some questions or something. You're I just want to fucking eat my food and just read some shit on my phone, right?
Mm.
But so normally what I do is I would just go, I'd leave the building and I'd go do stuff, which is eat food and then go sit outside and smoke for 30 minutes,
Yeah.
And now that I've cut back on the vaping, it's literally I'll step outside for 30 seconds and that's it. I'll give myself just a hull or two and then I'm done. And then, I just, feel weird because I, need something to do with my hands and then the nicotine, too. So it's well, so what I've been doing is, I just, read articles and shit on my phone. But it kills my data super hard. And I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'll just get a book. I'll just like read. Got Lord of the Rings. I was like, yeah, cool. Because I haven't really seen the movies in its entirety. I saw like a bit of 1 and 2 in like 2003.
Pretty good movies. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, never saw a third. So I was like, you know what? I'll just read it. But,
Interesting. I've been itching to read Harry Potter. I think it's because I was listening to a Dan Carlin podcast, and then he was doing an Audible ad, audibletrial.com/wild, and he mentioned how he was reading Harry Potter to his kids, ? I can't remember, but yeah, I don't know. I've been itching for that. Because I watched like the first 3 movies, and I read like the first 2 books, and I enjoyed them when I was younger. And I always loved the whole wizard world, you know, all the foods and Quidditch and
Muggles.
Yeah, what is Muggles?
People who can't use magic,
Right.
I think.
And I always thought it was interesting. It was a cool concept. And then I saw the first 3 probably like 8 years ago. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the math's wrong. But some people invited me and another friend to go see the new Harry Potter movie. And we're like, oh, hell yeah, let's just go do something. We'll go watch Harry Potter. And I thought it was going to be, I knew I was missing some movies, but I thought it was still going to be like, let's go walk around the wizard town and buy a new wand and buy a new broom. I was like, okay, that's going to be interesting. So I got pretty stoned and went to it, and it was the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Nice.
So it was like halfway through like a story, basically, an arc.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I was...
Well, the end.
It was the last episode. I was so confused. I don't remember any of it. I was so confused, and there was like some war was going on. I'm like, who the fuck are all these people? I just want to watch some Quidditch. But nope.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for real life. For games, been playing this really old school game. It's like from the 90s or something. It's called Slay. Think of it as like Civilization, but super basic.
Mm.
And like hexagonal, like warfare, and you just like upgrade units, and it's super
Like Polypia?
I don't know.
Battle of Polypia?
I have no idea what that is.
That mobile game.
That's not how I don't play mobile games.
I'm pretty sure you played it. It was like Civilization-ish. You could play against other people on your phone. Battle of Polypia.
Yeah, fuck that game. Like, I hated that game.
I fucking love that game.
It's even more basic than that, but like it's really, I don't know, it's super fun, and it's this guy just like kind of generated like 100 or 200 pieces of land. Then you just like fight over it with a bunch of NPCs, and I don't know, it's really, really fun, easy strategy game, and turn based. It's, I don't know, it's fun. And then I started playing RuneScape again. Actually,
I saw you log on.
mm-hmm.
What happened?
Chamber of Xeric changes. I was like, cool, I like that. I did some little maths on the Dragon Hunter lands, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. I need these lands. And then I just like kind of set random goals. Like, you know what? Fuck it. I should play some old school, because like Dark Souls 3 is fun, but I'll just sit down and play it for a little bit. And it's kind of hard to play it while I'm in like Discord with my buddies.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because like I'll be on a boss fight, and it's really hard to focus. I'm awful at multitasking. If you ever watch my streams, and I'd be like doing like a solar raid or something, I'd talk, and then like mid sentence I'd just stop, and I'd just start playing. Which is why like I don't really like streaming too much, to be honest, because I can't focus on like multiple things. Yeah. Well, no, it's like hard to like have a conversation while I'm doing something that like requires a lot of focus. I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
Need to like tunnel vision on something. Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I'll just start playing it again, because I'm kind of just playing like these random ass games like Slay and all that. And I was like, whatever. I'll play a little bit here and here. So I jump on, play for a couple hours, jump off.
What have you done? Anything exciting?
Not really. I did some Konar.
Okay. Thoughts?
Well, I did. The first thing I got was Iron Dragon, so skip. And then I got like Ankus and Stronghold Slayer, so that took like 2 seconds. And then I got Hellhounds at Karen, so skip. And then I got Hydra.
Nice. Okay. Have you done the boss?
Yeah, I have like 90 kills on him. The first, probably like the first like 50-ish or 40-ish, we're done with like the blowpipe and all that, and like max range. And then the rest, my buddy lent me his T-bow.
Ooh, nice. High roller.
Yeah. So I gotta kind of experience both methods of killing Hydra. And at first, I was like super nervous because like the way you kind of were explaining it, I was like, fuck, this boss kind of sounds hard. But like after like 2 or 3 trips, boss is really easy, like easier than Cerberus.
Yeah?
Yeah, the only pain is keeping track of its attacks, but like...
I would say there's almost more focus and like Cerberus, you have brief periods where you have to focus in hard, whereas Hydra, you kind of have to watch the whole thing.
I don't know. The boss, it's pretty easy. It's just kind of like each phase, you're just like running to a different corner of the room pretty much, and then he just like steps on it. This like the boss, like yeah, I don't know. It's pretty easy. Like if you know every 3 attacks, at the start of each phase, he'll do 3 attacks and then a special move. So like during his very first phase, you can just kind of, oh, he shot poison. Well, now I gotta switch prayers, and then. From there, you kind of can loosely keep track, but after he does his first special attack, and then it's like 9. I think it's 9 attacks, and he does it again, but that doesn't matter. The one thing I do like about the boss is that there's very little downtime. There's pretty much no downtime if you are like optimal, if you do the fight efficiently. Where like if you do like Grotesque Guardians, you'll like do the first phase, Dragon Claw Spec the second phase, and then you're in the 3rd phase, like, so, you know what I mean? Like, you have, like, you can skip, quote unquote, skip phases, but, there's still so much downtime that you're still waiting 40 seconds a fight. With Hydra, if you do it properly, or not properly, but, like, optimally, like, he pretty much never has reduced, or improved defenses, and it's pretty easy. And then with, like, the Twisted Bow, you can straight up just skip phases.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my god. But even with the blowpipe, you can, like, I've still had it where I've skipped phases and whatnot. But I do like how the boss is kind of tricky, but it's very consistent on, like, if you have your mechanics down, you'll get hit once or twice. The first time being when you first start the fight, it's a 50-50 if he hits you with major range.
Mm-hmm.
And then during his second phase, when he shoots the lightning, you can just stand in the corner and like only get hit by 1, or you can try and do some weird ass trick that someone showed me, but I can't do it. You can like trap it under you. So, but I don't really know how to explain it. But
so overall thoughts of the boss: positive, negative?
Really positive.
You like it?
Honestly, yeah, because I find it's more fun than Cerberus. The thing I didn't like about Cerberus is, like, you get a Rude, so he summons a ghost, like, 2-3 times in a fight, and now your whole trip is kind of ruined, because now you're just chunking your restores.
Yeah.
Or he spits 2 things of lava right next to each other, and they're on you, so then you instantly take, like, 20 damage. And you're like, oh, okay, and then sometimes just his auto attacks will just hurt you if you don't pray flick and stuff properly.
Yeah, fair enough.
In this fight, like, yeah, you can, like, do it well enough so you take next to no damage, which is pretty dope. Yeah, so, and those 90 kills, I got a unique, I got the Hydra leather.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Selling it, keeping it? What are you doing?
I made the gloves.
Yeah, okay, so if you don't know, Hydra leather, you use it with the Dragon Slayer 2 furnace? What would you call it?
Machine. Yeah, you gotta go to Lithgren, bring a hammer, and then use the leather on this, like, device.
Yeah.
And then you can make your ferocious gloves. And I haven't had a reason to use them yet, to be honest, so they've just been sitting in my bank.
They look badass, though.
Yeah, I honestly should have sold them and then bought it when the price goes down, because a lot of people are doing Hydra, but I don't really care. Yeah, it's pretty nice. And then I'm kind of at this point now where after this task, on average, I should be able to buy my T-bow.
Ooh.
Because, I don't know, I was going through all my gear. Some things, either that or like Runelight Bank value thing is off. But some of my gear shot up a bunch in price. But like my I lost like 20 mil of my D-claws, and I lost like 10 mil of my bulwark. So I don't know exactly what, but I am like in a position where I could do a rebuild with the T-bow, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Does sound like it would be a fun thing to do. I could see myself doing that when I get to that point in my bank.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking like with the nerfs coming to range, it might be worth it to actually sell off, rebuild a T-bow. Once range gets nerfed, all the range prices will crash. And then hopefully I can cash in and like snipe Pegasian boots for like 10 mil less. But yeah, it's pretty much it. Just had some fun. I've gotten the Hydra fight pretty much done. I can pretty much autopilot it, which is pretty chill.
Nice.
Yeah, I really do like the direction on which they're like making bosses.
Yeah, each one does seem to be a little bit more intricate.
Yeah, and like, you remember how a couple episodes ago we talked about good boss design?
Yeah, they brought up what the pointers they wanted to hit, right?
And I feel like they hit most of them.
Yeah.
The GP per hour, at the moment, I mean, the numbers are kind of skewed because it's Vorkath. Where, like, I heard that the Vorkath shield dropped. I haven't actually checked, though. With the price of the Hunter Lance, which I think is just going up in price. But it's you know, it's going to have its uses. But yeah, over the course of, like, averaging over a long period or over a lot of kills and doing it, like, yeah, the ward's what, 40 mil, is it?
So before January, beginning of January, 53 mil, at about 38 mil right now. So it has crashed.
A lot.
Yeah.
Why? I haven't been playing, so I don't know what would have caused it. Was it, if anyone knows, I wonder if there was like a meta shift at Vorkath that caused it to dip.
Maybe the Lance? No. Maybe people, no, I don't know. Maybe people just aren't doing Vorkath right now. So they're getting rid of their shit.
That wouldn't cause an item to go from like, what was it, like 90 mil down to 40?
Well, December 10th, it was at 60 mil.
Jesus.
January 16th at 37.
Okay, so I guess since I played, it just went to a third of its value.
Yeah.
That's weird. Huh. And that'll probably happen with the Lance. Oh, maybe not. Who knows? But, anyways, Hydra apparently at the moment is like 5.5 mil an hour if you're doing it efficiently.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty nuts. But I guess the only argument I could see is that you have to have the Slayer task.
Yeah.
It's not Vorkath where like it's locked, or Zoro, where Zoro you just need the levels. Of Vorkath you need the quest. But yeah, pretty crazy money. And on average, like the average loot not including uniques is like on par with Vorkath. So it seems to be good consistent money. Anyways, would you since the last episode?
Well, only thing interesting to mention, I guess, would be I started doing an online course on Udemy. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's an online course on video game music design.
What made you choose that?
Well, I'm in a radio broadcasting course in college right now, if you didn't know, and I just wanted to supplement what I'm already learning with an online course just teaching me production of some sorts. So I've been looking on a bunch of different websites on like Skillshare and Lynda, and then Udemy was the other one. And the reason I choose Udemy over the other two was because the other two have you pay monthly for a subscription, whereas Udemy you pay one flat fee for that course.
Okay.
So it was on sale for like $15. Apparently it's like always on sale. Like everything's always on sale.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
So it says the price of the course was like $250. Buy it now for $15. And then like every course that I've seen so far is like on sale for $15.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's going on there, but yeah, I was just looking through some of the audio production courses, and that one was one of the most popular ones. And I figured, hey, I'm not a musician. Like I can smash on a drum kit, but that's about it. I couldn't ever participate in a band. Yeah, and like the only thing that I'm like lacking is like how to actually make music. So I figured, hey, maybe take this course. It'll help me learn, sort of, like at least dip my toes into it. And then after college, I'll be able to, I don't know, maybe having some knowledge on music production might help out the career a bit, depending on how much. Ideally, after this course is done, I'm going to have some skills to make basic video game music, I guess. And I'm hoping that I can just continue and practicing to make music and stuff. And yeah, I think it would just help with my future career. But so yeah, I've been doing that. It's been pretty fun. The course like goes, there's a lot to the actual course itself, but we just did like the first project, which was like an RPG town theme.
Okay.
So it's like very simple, just like like Stardew Valley music.
Yep.
It's like very calm and
Sea Shanty too.
that's too much.
Yeah.
That's expert level. Yeah, so just really beginner shit, but it's been pretty fun so far and been enjoying that. But anyways, besides that, RuneScape got my Zaya Elite diaries done.
Nice.
So now I can teleport closer to the Hydra easily with that blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided I should probably... I have all my hard diaries done except for Ardone, which was on medium, and Karamja, which was not even started. So I figured, okay, I'll go do my Ardone real quick, get the hards done, and then I'll go do Karamja and get those hards done. And now I have every diary that I can complete right now completed. And I just need to get the skills up to do the rest. Yeah, that's it for the most part. Just doing some farming, some wood cutting when I do that online course, the odd raid with people in the clan chat. Yeah, I guess that's
yeah.
It for the most part. Yeah, let's get into the news. Let's continue off these dev blogs and other things that we missed from last episode.
So they prefaced this Chambers of Xeric's rejuvenation update. I don't really know what to call it, but with an apology on how they're sorry that Bounty Hunter hasn't really been given an update. They said last year, or was it 2 RuneFests ago? They had big plans.
Yeah, not last RuneFest, but the RuneFest before. They mentioned about doing the whole bounty tasks.
Yeah.
So it's like Slayer tasks, but for PvP. The same RuneFest, they brought out that same suggestion again. So.
Yep. And so right now for Bounty Hunters specifically, they're in the process of coming up with like a good design while talking to like some of the high-end Bounty Hunter players, the top tier players, the experts, I guess. I'm assuming they're like going to look at the ranks, Bounty Hunter ranks, and just like, all right.
Since that one guy's just been farming emblems.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, so yeah, they have like a lot of quality of life updates coming to Xeric's, and if you've done a lot of raiding, these are the most common complaints. At least like with the people I've raided with that don't play RuneScape, they play Chambers of Xeric's. You know what I mean? Like there are people that just love that so much, and that's all they do. I noticed that they're kind of touching up on a lot of those complaints I'd hear. So the first one to talk about is small scavengers getting removed, where if you haven't done Xeric's before, you don't know anything about it, within the raids to get resources, you need to kill scavengers in specific rooms, like where they spawn. There's like 2 variants of the big scavengers and the small ones, and the small ones suck. They're awful. The big ones are acceptable. They're fine. But the small ones can slow down raid times by like 5-10 minutes, depending like if you're solo or not, or like if you're in a group. It can really slow it down.
Yeah, and these are the people who are like blasting like 10 of them in a day, right? So they're hitting...
Well, like just in general though, like if you're doing a lot of raiding and you're trying to be efficient about it, like small scavs can be annoying. And also if you're an Iron Man, you can really appreciate this because solo or in groups, you're an Iron Man, so you have to get the supplies for everyone. That's just how you do it. If you're going to be efficient and you're an Iron Man, you will be the guy or girl to kill scavengers. So they just remove small scavengers and they replace them with the big ones.
Which is good because you're kind of flipping a coin before you start the raid on whether you're going to get the small or the big ones.
Yeah. A little consistency there. The monster examine spell wasn't able to work with small or with creatures with custom attacks. And it's not going to it's not able to do that because it's just too much info for the spell, I guess, to come up with. I'm not really too sure. Yeah, they'd like to enable the spell to reveal their combat stats.
Interesting.
Yeah, they want to fix it. I guess it would help with like optimizing certain gears, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's a lot of assumptions with certain things, with stats and whatnot, but I'm not too sure. The next thing they talk about is how herb quantities from a patch, the only thing it scales off of is your farming level currently, not with how many people are in the raid. And if you have like 6 people in the raid, honestly, and it's prep time for Olm, honestly, there's one person really putting in effort, another person getting the vials and AFKing. Maybe they also rake some seeds, but everyone pretty much AFKs because it's annoying. I hate it, but it's just what people do. One guy, whoever's got 90 plus herb lore, does the potions, one person does farming. It's kind of, you know what I mean?
Pretty much.
And it's a pain in the ass because sometimes you run out of seeds and you get no herbs, so they want to have it so that the herb patch yields will scale with raids. And like if streamers have 50-man raid, YOLO, free-for-alls, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's such a pain because you have people that sit there and rake and rake and rake, and then everyone swarms and I got 4 Buchus. Nice. And then you have people that are sniping all the herbs and stuff, putting it in their bank so they can make the overloads and get mad points. If you're doing free-for-alls with streamers, you should be doing that because you can get a couple thousand for free if you're making the overloads for everyone. Yeah. Anyways, some of the dungeon layouts don't give you a scavenger before you get to rooms that require items that they will be dropping. So only maybe the crabs getting a hammer.
Thieving room, just for the chest, right? No, okay, maybe not.
I don't. Well, the chest isn't really required, but maybe they see that as a requirement. When I mentioned about seed raking, the biggest issue is sometimes you sit there and you rake 30 knocks. Big exaggeration, 12 knocks of furze seeds, which are you only need a small 1 or 2. So what they've done is they've made it so every time you rake a seed, you can't get that seed, or it'll go into rotation. So after X amount of successful rakes, you'll have probably all the seeds you need. The next one is clue scrolls used to take up a resource drop in raids, and it's weird because it shouldn't, because it doesn't do that with anything else in the game.
Yeah.
And they've just made it more consistent, or they're going to be making it more consistent with all the other ways clues drop, so it won't be replacing an item anymore, or a resource. A lot of people suggested to let a dungeon instance remain open with no players inside, but they're not going to be able to offer that because engine work.
Yeah, that meme's come back.
Yeah.
Haven't heard of that one for a while.
If they're able to figure a way to do this, they will be. And the main thing is that if you're doing solo raids, you have an extreme advantage if you have an account or someone that's able to, you do the scouting on your account, you go through everything, and then you find what you need, and then you want to get the optimal gear for it. But if you don't have someone to hold the raid or an alternate account to hold the raid for you, as in they jump in while you jump out and get the gear, then you just kind of get stuck with it. I get annoyed with it because I don't have a second account that I'm willing to have a bond just to sit there or get people in the CC or whatever to hold it for me. It's just too much of a pain. So I just suck it up and will waste 2 to 3 inventory slots with having my abyssal dagger, my salve amulet,
pickaxe.
Yeah, pickaxes, whatever. So I guess the last thing we can talk about is the energy restoration pools. They're going to make it so they can cure poison, which is really nice.
Do you think you'll no longer need to bring in anti-poison? Because the problem is the shamans, if I'm not mistaken, the poison does 18 damage first tick, right?
Yeah, so what I do is I bring Sandfuse serums.
Right.
So I get
money,
resorts.
Mr. Money over here.
Yeah, I mean, use one sip. To be fair, I only use one sip. I'm stingy with it. If I get poisoned, I'm holding on to it until I get full use out of it. Yeah, so that's it for the minor quality of life things. We do have some nice things to talk about for room balancing. So the thieving room is the least desirable skilling room.
Yep.
You pretty much go in, you pick lock or try to open up a bunch of boxes to get grubs to feed this big creature. I think we talked about the lore behind it before. There was a guy who was in Xeric who was trying to train scavengers to fight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This room was part of the training, feeding the guys. Anyways,
nice, dropping some lore.
Yeah, it's in the book.
Okay,
in that room. But the big issue is that the way thieving works in that room is since it's a skilling room, it scales the thieving levels. And the issue I would have is when I ran with people, sometimes I'd be the only one with 99 thieving, but they'd be like 50 or something. So every time we hit a thieving room, they would go AFK while I sit there and do the whole room.
Yeah, I've been there. Go to thieve it. Oh, can't do it.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go use the washroom.
Yeah, and the annoying part too is that you can get food. There's a way to determine, like, so one chest there's always one chest that has food in that room, and it's free points if you use it to heal throughout the fight or throughout the raid.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of want to get it, and it's annoying because if I'm the only one doing it, then like there's like a way to figure out how it is by which chests are poisoned. You can use that to determine like the layout. It's whatever, but it was an awful process. And so what they've done is they want to eliminate a requirement to thieve, and they want to have it so that anyone can do it, but the level you get is based. The level of like your thieving determines how quickly you unlock the chest. Because sometimes you'll sit there for like 9 attempts. I do hope if you have 99 thieving that it's as good as having a lockpick in your inventory. Because if you don't know, if you do this room with a lockpick, you can instantly open the chest if you have the thieving level.
Okay.
So I kind of hope that's how they determine like 99 thieving on how it scales up to, where it's like, yeah, very effective. They also want to give you 5 times the amount of points. So it's actually worth it to do the room, because as of right now, it's the slowest and you get like no points in comparison to like Ice Demon, which is quick and good points.
It seems like it's in your raid only because I've been scouting for 20 minutes and I'm just, screw it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Really, everyone wants the agility one.
Oh, the tightrope?
Yeah, the tightrope, it's so fast and you get so many points. Yeah. And it's fun when you're in a free-for-all saying, can someone check the required level to do agility? As soon as you go in, you see like a bunch of people jump on the ropes and just walk across and die when they get off. Because everyone attacks them. But yeah. The next room is the Ice Demon. So the braziers, they encourage you to light them when you have a full inventory of wood, because it's not effective to like, you used to drop them all and then like, you used to have like, yeah, it's not worth it. They want to remove that as a benefit, so they're going to figure out a way to have it so you can stock them before lighting, have it like, so it's, I don't know, they're going to fix it so you could maybe not have to drop everything that's not gear, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be a good old quality of life fix for that one.
Yeah, and like, you kind of need a chest to like do it easily. The next one is the Vespula room, and notoriously known for, hey, we have Vespula. Hey, she broke all of her grubs and we haven't even started the fight yet. All right, let's reset.
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid, because the way it works is the fight starts before you actually enter the room, which they kind of make a joke about it, where they say, people kind of said it was a bug how Vespula would be spawning her grubs before you entered the room. It's like, well, that's not a bug. After all, this is how she reproduces. But she, she doesn't need an audience to reproduce. So that's kind of why it happens. But it would be nicer for players if she waited for the party to assemble before she did her thing. So they're going to fix it. And they'd also like to reduce the portal's health regeneration to 1/3 of its current rate, because it does regen pretty quickly. Yeah. And offer 2 extra points per HP damage dealt to it. And they're going to make the room a little bit more rewarding.
Cool. You think it's going to be worth doing now?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute, because
shit,
they're adding some pretty interesting ideas. So, next one is Tecton. Actually, before we move on, I really enjoy doing Vespula if I'm able to do the redemption method. It's fun. It's pretty tricky, but it's really fun. Which is like where you're just kind of attacking the portal and running between a couple spots. Okay. With the prayer enhance, and you use redemption to heal up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky, but once you get the method down, it's really fun. Anyways, so they want to reduce Tecton's defense by 25%, making it less dependent on damage-reducing attacks. There's a very big difference between we all hit a spec to one of us hit a spec. Like, there's times where, like, it is just ridiculously slow, or you get one, like, he doesn't even go, you know, it's like 3 hits with everyone.
Yeah, you basically, like, okay, let's try to stay alive until we get our specs back to try it again.
Yeah, and oddly enough, in challenge mode, they put Tecton as the first encounter because they understand how badly you need everyone to hit the specs. So if everyone fails, you just suicide, run out, and restart.
Cool.
So that might actually change the rotation of challenge modes. Maybe not, though. The Vanguards, the 3 dudes that you fight, sometimes if you hit them on the same tick that they're like changing positions, they don't reset correctly and it can wipe you. They'll just start attacking you, they'll start moving around, it's awful. And they're gonna fix that. And they're not changing Ulm. They want to change, they might make it so you can extinguish fires with a wider range of water vessels rather than elemental. So maybe humidify.
Ooh, interesting. Now you can monster examine them and still put out the fires.
Yeah. Snuff out those flames, examine, put your hand on it. The reason why they use humidify is because the reason why they bring that as an example is because bringing vengeance into raids is really nice.
Is it?
If you have someone on, like, especially for challenge modes, when I'd be doing them with my buddies, we would have one person on normals with fire, one person doing vengeances, and then one person on ancients.
Cool.
And there would be times where it's like, take off your prayer, let the mutadile hit you for an 80. And then you venge that, right? Or like Tecton, you know, everyone would get venged, or like people would get venged, and then they would take damage, you know, from him, and they could venge huge damages back onto him.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, risk versus reward, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it could leave some cool ideas. If they do ice barrage, that would be really big. If you could barrage them.
Yeah.
Because then
you're not bringing standards anymore.
Yeah, you'd bring ice barrage so you can, well, I like to do it for mutadile so you can freeze them so they can't go and heal.
Yeah, some people use a tentacle whip because that also stuns them.
Yeah.
The spec.
Yeah, pretty neat. And on to, I think, a pretty exciting aspect. So they have a lot of text, but thankfully for me, I can shorten it down. So the biggest issue of raids, what do you hate most about raids?
Oh, I know what this is. You're going to be able to get a scroll where you can lower your defense level for peers permanently. So for all the peers out there who've ruined... No, that's not what it is.
It is actually.
No way.
No, I'm totally making it up. that would be pretty good.
When Rev Caves, they're thinking of uniques, they thought about bringing a scroll that you could lower stats indefinitely.
Yeah.
For peers who fucked up.
But then you could also, like, do some... Yeah, whatever. Kind of would have been cool, honestly, to, like, have an account with, like, Varrock medium diaries and then 1 defense still. You need 5 defense minimum to get that diary done.
Still private server.
Oh, yeah, it's so stupid.
Anyways, you asked me what do I hate the most about Chambers of Xeric?
Yeah, if you're doing a raid from point A being, let's go do a raid tonight, to point B, which is, we got nothing. We had 3 raids, we got nothing.
Okay, yeah. So if you've never done a raid before, as Deagin was going through them, there's like a bunch of different rooms. But when you do a raid, you only get a handful of the rooms, and it's kind of random, which leads you to having to scout for raids that are most optimal for you.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm skipping Tecton that you mentioned. I'm also skipping Vespula, which is the other one you mentioned.
Vanguards.
And Vanguards, and then I also do Vasta and Mysterio.
Yep.
So you go into the raid, check to see what rooms you've got, have any of the ones I just mentioned, leave it, go back and do it again. And sometimes you're lucky, other times you're spent a long time looking for that one nice raid.
Yep.
The other thing I don't like is that, just some of the ones that they're looking at nerfing a bit, the ones that you're skipping, for me, they're a lot harder than what it's worth doing.
Like, let's go do Guardians compared to, let's go do Tecton.
Yeah, some of them take a lot more work.
And some of them require you to dedicate resources. Where like Vespula, you're required to have antidote because you get poisoned when you enter.
Oh.
Well, I guess if you die once. But I think you get poisoned at some point throughout the fight. Tecton, you need staminas.
Yep, a lot of running around.
Yeah. So those are very, very commonly skipped.
Because you just don't get... They're hard, and you don't get... At least for me, the points that they give aren't worth me struggling to do them.
Yeah, it's not worth the headache for some people, I guess.
Like for me, especially. Tecton, I will do. And the one nice perk about Tecton is he has a very rare chance of dropping the Onyx.
Yep.
So that's... I wish the other ones had... Maybe not like that, where they drop a unique. But it'd be nice if they maybe gave you a lot of points for how hard they were.
Yeah, they actually were originally like having the Dexterous scroll drop from Mutadile and stuff. Like,
oh, really? Haven't spread out like that?
But then there'd be people that just...
Yeah, farm that.
Yeah.
Scouting for Mutadiles, the first room.
Killing it and then leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, scouting, because some of the rooms suck. So
yeah. So that's actually it. So
it's like the only negative I can think of, and a lot of people will agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Farming and stuff, it's annoying, but still it's kind of cool. It's a unique... Well, sort of unique way of doing it. It was in Dungeoneering before, so it's not entirely unique, but...
Yeah, it makes Xerics. Like, farming isn't that bad. It's really just like, okay, let's prep.
Now that we have 2 raids, they're both very different.
Yep. They want to give you a chance to limit the amount of scouting or variance, I guess, when it comes to actually starting a raid, where there's times where I'm doing a solo and it's actually literally 20 minutes of scouting.
Yeah, it can happen.
Or sometimes you finish a raid, jump in, boom.
Yeah, there's sometimes where I have limited amount of time to do a raid, and me and like a couple other people I'm raiding with are scouting, and I'm like, guys, if we can't find one in 5 minutes, I'm not going to be able to do a raid.
Yeah.
We've been here for way too long, and it's getting late.
So, this is how they decided to change the way scouting is. Well, like we mentioned, or at least I talked about before, how I think it'd be cool to pay fees to lock like a raid. So let's say you pay like 300k, and then you can lock that room for your next attempt.
That's cool. And
then you can just spend 300k every time you want to do a raid.
Mm-hmm.
But that really gates like hardcore players that are willing to invest 300k a raid to get a T-bow fast. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Yeah.
After looking at it, it's really not that fair. It's literally like rich get richer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the way they've done it is that after you complete a raid, you have a chance to get a Xeric like ward scroll. And so these scrolls will like drop depending, like there's a chance, they're not guaranteed, but it's based on what you've killed in that rotation. So you could get Mutadile scrolls if you kill Mutadiles, you know, all that stuff. And when you use them, so you'd be able to use 2 boss rooms and a skill room per like scout. So you would use them, your character would get like imbued with whatever. So you could have like 100 like Vespulas, right? And every time you would do an attempt, a scroll charge would be used, and Vespula won't show up in your raid.
Does this leave like an empty room, or is it just you'll have the same amount of rooms, just Vespula will 100% not be in it?
So the way they word it is that you won't land on rotations with it. You won't like it opts you out of those boss seeds. It's not like, wow, I get 1 boss now. This sucks. Because you want points, right? At the end of the day, you want as many points as possible. So yeah, you can only do 2 bosses and 1 skilling room. So for me, like I hated Vanguard, like solo Vanguards and Vespula's okay. But Vanguards, Vespula are typically big no-goes for me.
Yeah.
I don't mind Tecton because of overload pluses you get for free.
Yeah.
That you kind of make up lost time and you get a lot of points. And then I hate doing like thieving. I hate that room a lot. So, but there are people that like if I'm soloing and like when I first started to learn solos, I always wanted thieving because you get free food and you don't have to like, if I got the free food, then that means I didn't have to stop and prep halfway through the raid to finish it.
Fair enough.
So yeah. And there's like, yeah, So the main thing to talk about is that these would be tradable.
Are they?
Yeah, so there's actually a reason to farm Vespula. Like, if someone thoroughly enjoys killing Vespula, or like a better example is that you mentioned you hate doing Vasa.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the best rooms you can get because it's really easy and you get a ridiculous amount of points. Well, at least I think it's pretty easy, but I love that room. It's one of my favorites, and it's cool. There's like you have to bring like an Abbey dagger for it. You don't have to, but you can. It's just nice getting use out of it and specking the crystals.
Fun to change it up a little bit.
Yep. So I could like opt into hoping to get Vasa every single raid. So alongside with my drops, I would get a Vasa scroll, and then I could sell it, and you'd buy it. And now your problem solved, my problem solved. More money for me because I like doing things, but it also like I hate doing Vespula, and I'll pay 80K to not do Vespula.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and some people are like, well, maybe I'll scout certain raids where Vespula is the very first boss and I can do the redemption thing. And I can have these really specific inventories, or like, hey, in like a 3-man or whatever, Tecton's super easy and awesome. So let's do it. And then if you're soloing, maybe you want to skip it.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you more of a reason to do some of the more difficult raids. And I think it's like a really cool idea to like bring an additional way or like an incentive for people to do certain raids, and then an additional way to make money within that raid.
Seems like a good idea. It'll be interesting to see how much these are actually worth, but I'm assuming they're going to be pretty consistent, right? They'll probably hit a point and...
Well, they say that they're going to have an elk value of 6K.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're assuming like Mutadiles and Skeleton Mages are going to be like 6K to like... You're going to elk those.
Oh, every room's going to have them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So every room, so it's not just the ones we talk about. Like so if you're doing like the optimal raids and you get those scrolls, they're going to be pretty useless because those are the optimal raid layouts to do.
Yep.
But yeah, so if you're going to go the extra mile, you could make some like easy money depending on, you know, what goes on. The scrolls only do get used if you're the party leader. So it's not like if you like, yeah, it's not like you're wasting it. Like if everyone got like a Vespula scroll and you have 4 people, you guys could take turns being the party leader.
Yeah.
And you could get 4 scouts in without a Vespula. But yeah, they do have a poll question related to that. Should Xeric ward scrolls be introduced as described, pretty much how we described it, allowing players to reduce their chance of encountering a specific room when generating the Chambers of Xeric? I should mention that these changes will affect challenge mode times.
Yep.
So they will be changed for you guys that like to do challenge mode. Keep that in mind. And they're also looking to change more things too in the future if need be.
Yeah, they said that there are still other problems that they want to address, but
yeah,
in the future.
So as of right now, the only problems, if all these were to be implemented, one is that they're kind of making raids easier when in places where like they shouldn't make it easier just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like a lot like Theater of Blood, where you think it's it's pretty hard, but like if you watch on day 1 how hard it was for people to like get the first couple kills, right? Let's say someone got the first 10 kill count in the early stages of Theater of Blood. It was really hard, but once people actually learn the mechanics, you're like, it's tricky, but it's not that hard. Like, you know, maybe there's some things that people are missing.
It took like 2 full days of raiding to get the first boss down. People quit because they're just like, I can't. I'm playing like shit 'cause I'm so tired.
Yep. And there are things how like, I guess Olm was kind of broken instantly by Wooks. Like, Wooks figured out Olm, how to solo Olm and stuff, like, really easily.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. It could lead to some more innovation. I do kind of feel weird about how they're doing that, but I guess it's kind of needed. The only thing I'm wondering is if they should add a way to make staminas. I kind of mentioned that they should.
Staminas and anti-poisons.
But now that I think about it, though, it would be really broken if you can make your own staminas.
Why?
just due to the way when you like the main thing behind Xeric's inventory management.
Yeah.
Where like that's why having an alt hold your raid for you is super important, because you could fit in 2 or 3 potions. Like when I do a solo, I bring like 4 staminas, a restore, a Sandfew, like 3 or 4 brews, and then like a ranging and a combat potion, and then the rest is just gear.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I even like opt out to leave out a brew and stuff, just depending on how I'm feeling. Oh, also my room pouch. But like 20 pieces of my thing is just actual gear, right? Because you want to get it done like efficiently.
Yeah.
And once you get the chest, it's built, you're set. But if you're able to like make your own stams, I would only need 1, and then I could just make 3 or whatever if I need it, or I can make a bunch for when I'm soloing home. It just like, you know what I mean? Like it makes the raid inventory management like not important.
Okay,
you're able to bring in like full switches and everything that you need.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I do want to see them somehow make it so it's easier to learn. Even if you could just like have specific rooms, like you could just like do like practice rooms maybe. You fight Vespula.
It seems like if you're willing, like this is assuming someone's going to go out of their way to find a good clan chat, but you don't need that high of stats to do it. If you go with a group that's willing to teach you it,
well,
base 80s, you'll be able to do it.
The main thing is having 78, preferably if you have 90 Herblore, that opens up like way more of raids. Because if you have 78, you kind of need to do certain you're forced to do certain layouts.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you're going with a group of like people who know the raid, someone will probably have 90 Herblore. Well, someone might have 90 Herblore, in which case you're okay. But learning the raid itself, it just takes finding a group. But then again, I'm a bit biased because I've taken a bunch of people on their first trips, and like you're gonna die a bunch the first time.
Yeah,
and you're gonna be thinking like, how the hell does anyone not die doing this? But by the 5th
Funny
run,
enough, I almost said that in a really bad way, but I brought a guy to his first solo raid or first raid. We did 3-man. He didn't die. He did it super well. I like ran through the mechanics quickly. Was like, all right, pray your overhead, pray this overhead, and he just like did the fight so well. And I'm like, dude, you make me feel so bad this game.
Jeez,
like he did it like super well. He was like, but then you have people that get so mad that they come into rage and they just die.
Yeah, fair enough,
because they've died like 80 times, right?
Yeah, but from what I've seen, by the 5th raid you're running, you might die once, but you know what to do and what to avoid. It just takes like fine-tuning at that point.
Yeah, getting used to mechanics.
Whereas the first couple of raids you're going to be doing, you're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, I did a couple in duos, and I just got an idea for how to do it, and then I learned I really learned how to do raids in solo. And like I mentioned before, my very first one was 3 hours long.
Yeah, mine was about the same.
But it was still, I had so much fun. I did it, re-logged so I wouldn't get 6 hour logged, and then jumped into another one right afterwards. But like, yeah, there's definitely some growing pains. But if you don't have anyone to play with and you're forced doing solos, like you're gonna spend 3 hours to get 20 pure essence pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, once you master solos, you're good to go.
But yeah, anywho, let's move on to the next update, the next fix,
exciting
patch. I don't know, whatever you want to call this.
Let's go through the patch notes.
Mm-hmm. So the boxing mechanics in, Deadman and in
PvP worlds,
vanilla,
yeah, vanilla RuneScape,
yeah, and just in RuneScape in general. So players splashing on each other may now be attacked by other players after splashing for a certain amount of time, just as it works in Deadman mode. We have also improved this anti-boxing mechanic to make it more effective. This will reduce the number of people who abuse the boxing mechanic with ults to protect their mains. This applies to the entire wilderness alongside everywhere in PvP worlds. How does this work in Bounty Hunter, though?
Haven't they already got it going well in Bounty Hunter? They do so many goddamn fixes with boxing that I'm like so lost.
So
To me, it seems like they put it in, they remove it, they put it in, they remove it. We just hear about it every other week.
So I wonder, like, this is what I was thinking. What if you're like, no, never mind. That wouldn't work at all. Never mind. Scratch that. They just talk about splashing. I guess you could still box other players while they loot in PvP. And I guess bounty hunter too. But I guess that's okay, because fuck rushers. Yeah, so players who use a Clan Wars free-for-all portal to lose their skull will now regain it back correctly if they attack a player they previously skulled on. This is to prevent players leaving a fight to deskull, to come back and continue it unskulled. Similar to the changes above, this applies to all worlds. Obby Mall PKing community, I bet you 90% of them just quit their accounts.
Yeah.
None of them like to do risk fights. It's actually kind of what killed my account. Like, I wanted to, like, yo, I have 3 kills in my account, or 2 kills. You want to fight? Sure. And then, like, you want to do a risk fight? No. Alright, well then let's fight. And then, like, someone has to do all that jazz. And then in the meanwhile, you get PJ'd. But, no one likes to be skulled as an obby mauler.
They want to be able to bring their, what is it, the obsidian necklace? I forget what it's called. Berserker necklace?
Yeah.
They want to bring their Berserker ring, their obby maul, and be like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Smack those high numbers.
The main reason is that, like, the granite maul pures that take 30 minutes to make that are, like, pretty effective, and they risk 20k skulled.
Yeah. And they have such a good KO potential.
Yeah.
And they just smack you with the spec, and they're out of there if they don't kill you.
Yeah. They always would try and make you skull up. So you're, like, risking a couple mil, and, like, they'd be like, bro, I have 50k cash on me. It's cool. And you're like, you don't. Trade and show me. You don't. And they, you know what I mean? Like, it was really annoying. But, so I guess unskulled fights are no longer a thing, which, honestly, for, like, the health of PvP, or PKing, it's good, because it's annoying as hell trying to fight someone who's got, like, full bandos and he's not sculling no matter what. And he rushes you, hits the portal, comes back, and now he's got 20 minutes of harassing you. But yep, they fixed the farming guild doors. Again. The Dragon has to KP. I don't know, what's the KP? Some sort of poison?
Oh, maybe that's the Karamji poison.
Oh.
From Tailboy One-Eye Trio. I don't know.
No longer tradable.
Yeah, okay.
The death protection value of the lance has been increased. The alchemy price of the tail has been reduced to 60k.
Alright.
Pretty much it.
All the fucking boring updates.
Graphical issues. Ferocious gloves do clip through Armadale chain vest.
True.
For people who, I don't know why you'd wear them, because they give you like minus 16 range attack. But
Thermonuclear Smoke Devil.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Actually, yeah. Well, no, because Arma gives you minus attack.
Does it?
Yeah. So I don't know, but there's a clipping issue there that I know they haven't fixed.
Okay.
So shame on you, Jagex.
Shame.
Let's move on to the important poll blog.
Yay! I'm actually excited for this one.
Yeah. Song of Elves, poll blog 1. Well, they actually say poll blog I.
They're so old school.
Yeah.
With these Roman numerals.
Yep.
I actually like the name Song of the Elves. That's a cool quest name.
Yeah, I just want to know what kind of music they're going to be adding.
There's going to be no music.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's going to be like all acapellas.
Maybe. Well, we heard Lady Versacrum, right?
Yeah, that's a good song too. I like that.
What if it's just that with like her singing, but it's like 3 times overlaid and it's delayed by like 2 seconds? It's just,
pitched down a lot, so it's like, like whales. This ain't no song of this is Song of the Whales. What is this?
Yeah, so what is this blog about? Well, it's to let you know what they're going to be adding. No, it's pretty much what to expect from the from like this update, Prifddinas and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't really mention too much what would be in it. They mentioned some RS3 stuff that I don't want to talk about. Agility course specifically.
Hell yeah. Fucking right. Let's get that at level 1 too. Double the experience. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll start with the lore with the quest.
Sweet.
If you want to take that over.
You think you're the hero of this story, but you're not. Direct quote from Lord Isleworth. Big things have small beginnings. 16 years ago, the Plague City quest was added to RuneScape. This quest marked the beginning of the fabled Elf quest series, the oldest and longest quest series in the game. From elven rebellions to dark lords, the series has told a thrilling story with many twists and turns. Now, after all these years, it's finally time for the story to come to its conclusion with old school RuneScape's newest Grandmaster quest, Song of the Elves.
So you'll team up with a range of characters from across the series to finally put an end to the schemes of Lord Isleworth and King Lathas.
Oh, is this going to be a giant war like Dragon Slayer 2?
It's going to be like Game of Thrones.
Oh, fucking right.
So it's going to be awful.
What?
So do not expect this to be easy. You
Lots
will face
of sex scenes.
Yeah, a lot of sex scenes.
Unnecessary.
Let's just say, Neve comes back.
She never went anywhere.
Yeah.
She is Lord Isleworth.
Yeah.
What a twist. What a turn.
But
There's definitely a sex joke in there too.
Yeah, I was going to make one, but a little bit too... it was going to go too far.
Too spicy.
Yeah. So, you'll face challenging puzzles and deadly forces, or deadly foes, as you fight to bring peace to the Elven lands. That's it. That's the quest right there. Congratulations. But,
all right.
But in all seriousness, the first question, the poll question is, should this quest be in the game?
No.
Nah, but we want everything else. Just open up Prifddinas.
Add it to the GE. I want a gauntlet in the GE.
Yeah. Well, the GE is a gauntlet of scamming and gold doublers.
Now we get 2 gauntlets.
Yeah, so for years, this is some lore. You want to hit that?
Oh, sweet, again. For years, the empty city of Prifddinas has sat untouched on the old school RuneScape map. This barely sounds like lore. With Song of the Elves, the gates of this legendary crystal city will finally open to those who succeeded in bringing an end to the tyranny of Lord Isleworth and King Lathas. Prifddinas will contain a range of shops, resources, and other amenities. It will also feature some brand new content offering some exciting rewards. Check out the map above to see what Prifddinas has to offer.
Well, it's a podcast, so they can check out the map above. But I do notice...
Picture it, when they say that, it means picture it in that brain. Just think. Envision what you want your Prifddinas to be.
And then let me destroy that vision by saying, the first thing I noticed, the first thing my eyes saw is a new farming patch, allotment with an herb.
Hell yeah.
And an agility course.
No banks for some... No, there is a bank.
There's 2. Oh, and there's also,
You got training dummies. If you want to go get your 10 attack, strength, and defense.
Yeah, they do have, like, a lot of weird things, though. So they do have, like, a mining pit right next to, Anvil.
Ooh, a house portal.
Yep. And spoilers, because... I guess we'll talk about that in a second. But, they won't be polling the addition of every shop and resource. They'll be covering the main poll questions, but... They do have polls for other content. So the first thing is, if Song of Elves is added, should the completion of the Grand Quest give access to the Elven capital?
Yeah, of course.
I wonder, like, what if only the quest passed? Like, we want this quest, but we don't want Prifddinas. We don't want anything else. We just want this quest.
I want to say I hope that happens just to see how they handle it, but no, please.
They probably like, well, this is an issue to the integrity of the games. We're going to add it all.
Well, what happened with Revs? They fucking spite you by like, okay, this is what you get instead.
Yeah.
Here's a bunch of resource. Oh, you don't want these armors? Fine. Then you're just going to get 200 dragon plate legs. So what's going to happen is like you're going to open up Prifddinas and you're just going to step and it's going to be Varrock. You're like, fuck. This doesn't even make any sense. Well, you guys didn't want Prifddinas, so there you go. You want the Grand Exchange so bad? Fine. Here it is.
They're gonna just like start locking Prifddinas behind like everything, like we talked about last episode. They just kind of put like a cliff note. It's like if Prifness is added to the game, would you guys like a free bond?
Choose one stat to get to 99.
Yeah. Anyways, third question is, with the completion of Song and Elves and Saudi Construction and 50k coins, would you like to have the option to have your own house, I guess your house be in Prifness, so you'd be using that house portal?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I think I moved my house portal once for a diary, but it's always been in Remington.
Really? I move mine all the time. I do Remington if other people need access to it and we're doing some sort of bossing, like Corp or something. I'll do Taverley for Cerberus and farming runs because I want to get to that tree. I'll do Relica. I don't. Why did I? Oh yeah, because I didn't have my Fremenic elites done for the boots, so I was using that instead. So I guess I don't use that. It's just Taverley. I leave it at.
Yeah, I prefer just using like teletabs and other things. I don't know.
Just hate imbuing them.
Yeah, whatever.
Scroll and redirect.
Yeah, I mean, I have like a nice healthy supply of them, so I don't have to worry. But yeah, poll question 4: if Prifness is added to the game, should it include some teak mahogany trees? There would be 3 teak and 2 mahogany trees. They add this because of EHP skilling and stuff, I guess. Or for cutting them, making the planks for Iron Man, maybe. Or making money.
I mean, I have no problem with this. I just, they're fucking elves. They want it to look all naturey and shit, right?
Yeah.
So, like, as long as it looks like an organic city and it's not just random, like, this is our teak garden.
Well, I'm gonna assume that would they say 3 teak trees and 2 mahoganies? So this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna add a really weird spot where the teak trees are in the perfect location so you can 1.5 tick them. Because there's a method that was discovered through
you need a
fossil
bird or something?
Huh?
Is that what you need, the bird?
No. So that's 2 tick.
Oh.
So 1.5 tick. That method, which someone discovered with the Fossil Island hardwood trees, the way they were set up, they were able to manipulate. They were able to like tick manipulate a way to do 1.5 ticks. Where I think you can get fire making experience if I'm right.
Oh.
While you do it, but the way you can rotate between the 3 allows you to just get crazy good experience. And the community was pissed because a lot of people lost EHP. Like, a lot of EHP was gone. But now that's already happened, so they might not even require... Like, they might just have them there so you don't need Fossil Island and all that stuff to do it. Which, for everyone, for 99% of the player base, no one cares.
Yeah.
But, like, for the skilling community, it actually does kind of matter. That's the only reason why I brought it up. Some people might be like, nice, my level 3 skiller doesn't have to do observatory quest as soon as I make it, and hope I don't get a combat experience. So now I can go to Fossil Island after doing all these other quests. Like, there's like, it's very like, you know, if you're making a skiller, you can get to Fossil Island at level 3.
Yeah.
And then now all I need is farming, so I can 1.5 tick. Like,
you know, just give them the best rate so they just get 200 million experience and they just get a good night's sleep for once.
Well,
being a little facetious, but
yeah, because they'd probably do the opposite. Let's be real.
Make another account and do it on. Well, I do know that they had that EHP draft league. I'm not sure what happened with the whole thing. I used to just see it in passing. People were like ripping like 18-hour days. More, yeah.
The guy doing prayer spent from what was told by me. I have a buddy who's really into the skilling. What he told me was he paid a bunch of people for protection. He dropped like mills on protection. And then he did the altar in the wilderness. And he did, what are the bones you get from, what's it called? The good bones?
Orgs? Or what is it?
I don't know.
Like the Joker thing, right?
What are they called? The Vorkath bones.
Oh, superior.
Yeah.
Dragon bones.
Think of that. Yeah. I think he did superiors, but like it was either that same guy or someone else was pulling like 30-hour plus like they're playing for over a day straight and then sleeping for like a handful of hours. Like, people take it really serious, but whatever.
Yeah, I remember when the clan Hexes had this like quote unquote podcast going. It was just a bunch of people that would talk kind of, but it was kind of interesting to listen to when I was at work because I like to listen to podcasts. So of course I'm going to look for another RuneScape podcast. I remember they were doing that draft league and one person was on and they were talking about what do you think is unhealthy. They either asked what's the worst part of this draft league that's going on, or do you think this draft league is a positive thing? And they're all like, yeah. But one person was like, no, I think it's super unhealthy. People are pulling 20-hour days just for this very small community who's competing.
Yeah.
And it's not about,
it's not for the, what do the kids call it? Clout?
Clout?
Clout, yeah.
No, what's that?
The respect.
Oh, what?
It's equivalent to like, this, my fam is lit.
I was thinking it was, clout. I was thinking like gout.
Yeah, for the goal.
I guess it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
But, he said it's super unhealthy because it's not really based on how good you are at the game. It's based on how much sleep you're willing to sacrifice.
Kind of.
You gotta be good at the game, but like, it all comes down to who can pull the most all-nighters.
Well, that's the main thing, like, because it's EHP, they look at, like, the least amount of hours played to how fast you can hit a 200 mil.
Yeah.
So, like...
But there was the draft league, right? Like, fantasy sports.
Yeah.
But this was for fantasy EHP, and I guess people got traded on these fantasy teams. Okay, I can't exactly remember. This was a while ago, but it was based about total amount of experience that they've had as well throughout the week.
Yeah. So, like, they're, like, I bet you no one gives a shit about this, but...
I guess. For me, it was an interesting look to this very small community within old school RuneScape that I am not able... Like, to me, they might as well be playing a different fucking game. Because I'm just like, I can't... That doesn't sound fun at all. But there's enough people who enjoy that stuff that they have several different teams competing.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah, but the main thing is that, like, there are people within the skilling community that are, like, they're, like, laughed at because, like, they are bad skillers, but they literally play, like Link's Titan hours, but not efficiently.
Yeah.
Like, when I was talking to, like, that guy and, like, his group of friends or his clan, his skilling clan, they constantly made this really obscure joke that I didn't get. And I'm like, okay, someone has to tell me this joke. And they, like, gave me the history on this, like, Australian guy who, like, plays, like, 20 hours a day. He, like, would red woodcut for, like, 20 hours straight, pretty much.
Jeez.
But he would call himself an elite skiller. So people kind of, like, but, like, you're listening as, like, an average person. You're like, okay, but then, like, in the skilling community, it's like, well, he could have been 1.5 ticking teaks and got triple, quadruple the experience, and he's just...
Sure, you're gonna get carpal tunnel, but still.
But, like, that's how, like, serious these people kind of take it. So, yeah.
Anyways, I have no problem with teaks from Mahogany's and Prifdinez.
Well, do you? Because the next question is...
No.
Now, this is going into the merchanting community. No, I'm totally kidding. But,
everyone's pissed.
Everyone's pissed except for normal people.
Yeah.
It's, a new copy pasta, normal polls for normal people. Have you ever seen that copy pasta?
Normal porn for normal people.
Yeah, nice.
I remember a guy told me about that, and it came with man, we're getting way off topic, but it came with these weird videos of this gorilla thing. You know what I'm talking about? The videos were freaking creepy.
I like the whole thing is that, I mean, you can probably like go on YouTube and have like channels dedicated to creepypasta.
Yeah.
But like, it was like, this guy I talked to at a gas station told me how to go on the dark web, and then he like goes in some chat room and then just like normal porn and it's just like really weird. And then
someone at work told me about that, and I started looking into it, and there's some videos of it, and you watch it, and they're very like, you think you're watching some kidnapping, some post kidnapping scene.
I mean, those are fake though.
Yeah, you look into it, and then someone got inspired from that creepypasta, and he was like, I'm gonna pretend to be the guy.
Yeah.
And then, but there's one where there's like this gorilla monkey, probably a guy in a gorilla suit.
Yeah, or Sasquatch.
Found the Sam Squanch. But it is pretty creepy. So definitely not safe for work for multiple reasons. You can watch it and probably be like, wow, that is kind of terrifying. They did a good job. But yeah, all fake.
Yeah. Anyway, so for the normal polls for normal people, that's what we should call this episode.
That's good.
But
we don't normally come up with the name of an episode halfway through.
But yeah, so if Prifdnis is added to the game, should it include a new sawmill? The sawmill would be further away from the bank, from a bank than the one in the woodcutting guild, but it would be the closest sawmill to teaks and mahogany trees.
It's an Ultimate Iron Man thing, it sounds like.
Or like an Iron Man thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. Probably like an Iron Man. I don't really know.
So now are the Iron Men going to be upset about this?
From my understanding,
what question is this pissing off? Like, what part of the community is getting pissed off about this one?
If we're gonna assume Iron Man and Ultimate Iron Man, I know with Iron Man the meta is to have your house at Remington. You would cut an inventory of oak logs,
right?
Go to your house, talk to your butler, and you get him to like make you planks or something.
Okay.
And then you leave and you just do it again.
Okay.
And you just cut an inventory, jump back in. That's like the way people, and then they just get mad oak planks. They make oak doors, I guess. I don't know.
You use a spell too, right? There's a spell for it. It's a lunar spell.
The runes needed.
Yeah.
And then, have you heard the sound?
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's worse than the Armadillo spec.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with it's gonna piss off the elite Iron Men who've already done this.
Yeah, the 200 mil construction.
Mm-hmm. Iron Man skilling community.
Yeah. So if Prifdnis is added to the game, this is poll question 6. We have 32 more to get. No, I'm totally kidding. Should it include a new herb patch? This would require 70 farming and Song of the Elves. I wonder if they add farming because maybe 70 farming is what you need to finish the quest. What kind of herb patch is locked behind farming?
Yeah,
that would be really silly.
You have a gardener that just kind of slaps you and he's like, "Cool, blimey, get your hands out of me pocket." Is that what he says? The farmers?
Yeah, but I was trying to think of like a innuendo or something for his herb patch. Anyways, whatever.
So that's pissing off probably the merchant community because now they got more herbs. They've crashed. They're
pissing off me because they're turning farming into an even bigger Facebook game.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing.
Pissing off Deagin, you're pissing off the merchers, you're pissing off the skillers.
Yeah, that's Song of the Elites is called that, and that's relevant because this update, the Prifdnis update that came to RuneScape 3, divided elite players to the casual player base.
Right,
because they had their own Grand Exchange, dude.
The
that
Masters
works.
Guild or something.
Yeah. Anyways, poll question 7. If Prifdnis is added to the game, should it include new soft clay rocks? These rocks would work exactly like clay rocks, but would give soft clay instead of clay. Wearing a bracelet of clay while mining the soft clay would grant 2 instead of 1 for every successful mine.
This is just pissing off everyone, right? You're pissing off the skillers.
I wonder why. Do you think soft clay is like heavily botted or something?
Probably. Yeah, they have,
You know what I'm thinking? You need soft clay to make teleport tabs.
I'm buying that shit. I'm not gonna go do that.
No, but like botters make like all your Bones to Peaches tabs.
Yeah.
They're made by alt accounts or botters.
Yep.
You need Song of Elves and 70 mining to mine these. So if you're like an Iron Man, you'd still need to have 70 mining. So that's not too bad. I'm assuming that 70 mining and farming and stuff for those past those 2 questions would be like you need them to do the quest. Because it'd be really weird. Unless, because I know in like Lord of the Rings, from all my knowledge of looking at the books on my desk that aren't open, but like elves are known to be like super good at magic.
Yeah, no, even in D&D, right?
In general, yeah, D&D, like even like just I guess in just general,
they're like very
good. with magic.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Good.
Yeah.
No, they've always been known to be good with magic or archers or like even they're just very what's the word I'm looking for here? They're very graceful. Right?
Elegant? I don't
Elegant.
know.
Yeah, well yeah, elegant and like magic would be more versus like a warrior that's kind of barbaric.
Yeah. So I wonder maybe they're like the rocks would be imbued by some sort of magic. Maybe that's how they'd make it work if it's not linked behind a quest. If the level isn't linked behind the quest. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
yeah, who knows?
who cares?
It's fucking soft clay, god damn it.
Let's talk about the gauntlet. As mentioned before, Prifddinas will feature some brand new unique piece of content. The first of these is the Gauntlet, created by the Elves as a training ground to ensure that they were capable of defending the city during the God Wars. You should probably read this because it's lore, but it's over anyways, so my bad. But the Gauntlet is a new solo PvM minigame that will push your skills to its limits. Last man standing, but you're already the last man standing.
I like it.
Yeah. When entering the Gauntlet, you will not be allowed to bring any items of your own. Instead, you'll be given a limited amount of time to explore the area in search of resources.
Last man standing, nice.
Yep. The area will contain mineable crystal for armor and weapons, choppable roots for bows and arrows and staves, farmable herbs for potions, fishing for food. These various resources will not require a specific skill to gather, but high levels will grant more resources at a faster rate. The dungeon will contain various crystalline monsters which can be killed for further supplies. Higher level monsters offer better drops, but take longer to kill. To keep you on your toes, the layout of the Gauntlet will be random each time you enter, causing the monsters and resources to spawn in different locations.
Is this Chambers of Xeric?
This is Dungeoneering Light 2.0.
I was expecting you to walk in, it'd be like an arena. You just walk in there, and then it's like, all right, here's the monster, and you have to okay, maybe there's some things on the edges of the arena you can loot and stuff, but I wasn't expecting this to be like an actual dungeon crawler.
Well, you won't be able to see all of the dungeon initially, and you'll need to explore to discover where everything is, making for a frantic and fast-paced challenge. Once the time is up, you've gathered your supplies, you'll be forced into the central chamber of the Gauntlet. Here, you'll need to use everything you've gathered to defeat the crystalline Hunelf. Yeah,
they just smashing their hand on that keyboard with this name.
Yeah, I wonder... Yeah, whatever. So it's based upon a deadly wolf-like predator from the Elven homeland. And so knowing Jagex, there's probably some weird, British, oi, mate, you didn't drink a cup of tea, the crystalline Hun...
American Werewolf London?
I don't know, maybe. Cool, because you know how, the Olm, we were why is it considered a dragon? And then then we find out that Olms were people thought they were baby dragons back in the day. And it's kind of worked out. So I wonder if it's the same thing. But yeah, the crystalline Hunlef is a vicious enemy that only the most worthy foe will be capable of defeating. And the completion of the Gauntlet will grant you access to a generous new drop table. Failing to finish either by death or leaving early, you'll give a small token reward based upon how well you performed, but no uniques. It's a dangerous minigame, so death will result in loss of hardcore Iron Man status, and I guess if you're also an Iron Man, all you go shit at Zulrah.
Yeah, true.
If Prifddinas is added to the game, should it include the new Gauntlet, a brand new solo PvM challenge?
Sure, yeah, cool.
I really hope they just say the word dungeon just because it's the best word. I don't want it to be you're in an actual underground, you're dungeoneering.
Yeah. I want it to be above ground I want it to be in an arena.
Honestly, they probably just you're in a forest and everyone's they have flashbacks to the elven lands, going through the forest to get to Prifddinas with all the traps and stuff. But I don't know. I think it'll be more of a foresty thing.
I think it will be underground.
I guess they do mention the roots, so maybe there'll be tree roots that seep in.
It just seems like the easiest way for them to do it. But again, I was picturing this crystal battle arena. Imagine the duel arena.
Imagine Hunger Games arena.
It's interesting.
It's a big area with watery areas and then foresty areas and
the forest field around it.
Yeah. care packages dropping in.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But yeah, no, I do like this. I just want to know what the difficulty is going to be. It's going to be harder than Jad, I hope.
Yeah. Well, seeing how I'm not saying it's going to be harder than Hydra, but seeing the mechanics with Hydra and their new boss design, I imagine it's going to be a pretty intricate thing. That being said, I do know we have some uniques to talk about, which might give us an idea of who this is going to be geared for.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll jump right into it. So I guess the first and most questionably designed stuff is the crystal armor. So it won't just be made up of items, but it'll offer a way for you to obtain crystal armor. So it's a new armor set designed to complement existing crystal weaponry. The armor will have like the helmet, the chest plate, and the legs. You need 70 defense, 50 agility to wear it. The gauntlet drop table the gauntlet drop table won't directly give crystal armor, but it'll give a chance of giving a crystal armor seed, and that could be combined with crystal shards that can create a new armor set. They're kind of taking a lot of variance and RNG on getting a full set for the average person, which I think is good because we all know like Rogue's Den, how that used to be.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So the crystal shards that we just mentioned are another new item you get just by completing various activities in Prifness, including the gauntlet. So the seeds are tradable, the shards and the armor itself will not be.
So the shards are just like pneumalites from Fossil Island. So cutting the teaks can give you shards now.
Maybe. Probably not. Maybe doing...
Should only be the gauntlet, I think.
We can talk about that in a second, because I think they have some more ideas they're going to throw at us. But yeah, so to give you an idea, so to make the helmet, you need 1 crystal armor seed and 50 shards. You need 70 smithing and crafting. The plate legs is 2 seeds, 100 shards, 72 smithing and crafting. Chest plate is 3 seeds, 150 shards, 74 smithing, 74 crafting. The total is 6 seeds to make the set and 300 shards as well.
Okay.
Yep. So the armor will degrade, but unlike the other equipment, its stats won't degrade as it does, because
nobody wants to go to NMZ to imbue it for that.
Each crystal armor will degrade back to a seed after 2,500 hits, and shards would be then used to create it again.
Cool.
Yeah, so the table shows here, I guess we'll explain it, but when you have all 3 pieces worn, you will receive a 5% boosted damage and 15 accuracy when using crystal weaponry.
Cool.
So that halberd just got way better.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you like the bow is going to be used more. I hope we get a one-handed weapon so we can use the shield, because that shield is freaking cool looking.
Yeah. So the helmet, chest, and legs. So the helmet and legs give a +2 prayer. Legs give a 3, so you get a total of 7 prayer bonus for the set. Its defenses are pretty like decent. Most notably, like the full set gives 350 range defense.
Yeah, and it's
no magic defense, but like that's kind of how the crystal shield was. You use it for range defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there are no negative attack bonuses though,
which is good because you can use the bow with this armor.
So yeah, the poll question is: if the gauntlet is added to the game, should it reward crystal armor seeds as a reward? And these armor seeds can be used to create armor.
Like how they're not pulling the actual armor itself. They're saying if the gauntlet comes into the game, the armors are going to be there, just whether or not you want to get them through the method that we just mentioned.
Yeah.
At least that's what I get from reading that question.
Well, I kind of got the opposite. Do you want these to be this to be the method to get the seeds?
I guess it could be either way because it's a little vague, but to me it seems like, yeah, we're not bringing the gauntlet out without these rewards, so...
Yeah, okay. The main thing is, yeah, the seeds are tradable, the shards are not. I just wonder what else you'll get, because, like, you only need 6 or whatever, and, so you only need to do the gauntlet 6 times, and then you have...
Maybe, but I think the shards are what you're going to be wanting more so.
Yeah, but the thing is that once the armors degrade, you keep the seeds, but you need the shards. So I wonder if this is content that is temporary,
Oh, you think you're going to do it a few times and then you're going to back off because you don't need the seeds anymore?
Yeah, because we have another neat idea. If you want to start off with the lore.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Although the elves did their best to avoid the God Wars, they were unable to stop the carnage reaching Prifdines. Over the thousands of years that the God Wars took place, many foes came to the city in the hope of claiming the knowledge and power of the elves. One of these foes was Zalcano.
Zamrock Volcano, baby.
Yeah. Once a demon in service to Zamrock, her ambition eventually got the better of her and she was cursed by the god during an attempted uprising against him. This curse doomed her to turn to stone. The elves had no desire to help Zalcano, so she decided to try and take from them what they were unwilling to give. She failed, and they trapped her beneath the city so they could study her condition. Now, thousands of years later, she remains beneath the city. The elves studying her often need help keeping her in check, and they'll happily reward anyone willing to give them a hand.
Yeah, so the Zalcano is a...
It can't be Zalcano.
Probably Zalcano or something. I'm going to keep calling it Zalcano, though, just because, like, Jagex, get a better name. But, yeah, I can't. I'm going to call it Zalcano. It sounds better to me.
Oh, it definitely does sound better.
Yeah.
Just like the stupid name.
Zalcano is a new boss that is immune to traditional combat damage. Instead, you'll need to use your mining, smithing, runecrafting skills to create magical charges capable of destroying her stone armor. Once your armor is stoned, once your armor is destroyed, you'll be able to damage her by mining her core with your pickaxe. While you do this, she'll do everything she can to fight back and will have a variety of abilities at her disposal. Besides access to the city, there are no additional requirements to fight Zalcano. However, you will find that higher levels in mining, smithing, and runecrafting will be advantageous, and on top of this, her attacks will be powerful and will not scale for lower levels. So high hit points is recommended, and players will be able to fight Zalcano both alone and in a group. So, if Prifdines is added, should it include this new boss that can only be defeated through skilling?
Runecraft Todd? Is that what I'm hearing here? It seems more or less an actual skilling boss that they had intended Winter Todd to be. Whereas Winter Todd feels more like a minigame, and it is.
Yeah, you do Winter Todd for like the outfit, kind of, the pet, kind of, but you're really there for good experience and...
not losing money.
Yeah, making money.
Yep. So this sounds kind of cool, though. It sounds like... I remember when Chambers of Xeric was first being announced, and they mentioned how skilling would be required. We had talked about how we thought some of the bosses would require, okay, maybe this guy is only level 80 in the stats, but he has 99 wood cutting, and you need that 99 wood cutting to cut the roots from this tree boss,
yeah,
and damage it. That's what we thought they meant by there's going to be skilling involved. But this seems more in line to what we had been talking about, sort of.
Yeah, I feel like this is like their second take on Winter Todd.
Yeah, well, third take because what was it? That volcano.
Oh, volcanic mine.
Volcanic mine was.
Well, that's not really that's like a skilling minigame as well.
Yeah,
it's not like you're just like destroying a meteor before like.
I just remember they had compared it to Winter Todd in some way.
But then you find out it's more efficient to like not to ignore
don't even go there.
Like it's more efficient to like cheese the points in a solo.
Yeah.
For one reward that you never go back to again. But yeah, so what does this boss grant you? So besides small amounts of experience in mining, smithing, and runecrafting, let's emphasize this: small Jagex, very little experience, small, tiny amounts. What's another word for small?
Tiny?
I just said that.
Yeah, another word?
I said tiny amounts, but little.
Petite?
This just better not be like the go-to method for training mining, smithing, or runecrafting. That's going to kind of piss me off. But little amounts of experience.
I hope it's good enough experience, though, that you're like, if I stay here till 99, won't take me years upon years to do it.
I think it should be that, because there are some pretty neat rewards, and if it's a boss, you don't boss for experience, right?
True. Okay. True.
These will include a brand new unique item, the Crystal Equipment Seed. They're just
come up with a better name.
So these Crystal Equipment Seeds will be combinable with Crystal Shards to create 3 new pieces of equipment. The Crystal Shards will be obtainable through, Volcano Crystal, or the Crystal Shards will be obtainable by completing various activities, like we said before. So the Crystal Shards will be obtainable through various activities. I'm assuming that this and so far the Gauntlet would be 2 ways to get the shards as well.
Yeah.
But this one offers the Crystal Equipment Seeds, which will also be tradable, but the shards and the equipment itself won't be. So what are these Crystal Equipment? It's a crystal pickaxe, wood cutting axe, and a harpoon. Each one is made with the equipment seed and 120 shards and the corresponding piece of dragon equipment. So doing this requires 76 smithing and crafting. These new seeds will require 71 in their respective skill to use and will offer faster gathering speeds than their dragon counterparts. The item will require 70 attack and 50 agility to equip, and they will retain the equipped stats and special attacks as their dragon counterparts. They degrade after 10,000 uses with each item gathered and counting as 1 use. So mining 10,000 ores, for example. I wonder if the wood cutting axe would get used up really quickly at Wintertod.
Yeah.
Once it degrades, it goes back into its seed. You know how it is. The dragon item used to create the equipment will be recovered, but the shard will not. So the pickaxe will have a 1 in 4 chance to mine an ore 1 tick faster than the rune pickaxe, up from 1 out of 6 for the dragon.
Yeah, so the dragon has a 1 out of 6 to mine an ore 1 tick faster than the rune pickaxe, and this is 1 out of 4. So it's not even a major upgrade. Well,
yeah, it's a pretty big upgrade.
Yeah, I guess so.
The axe will be 15% more effective at chopping logs than a rune axe, and so 10% for the dragon axe.
Why don't they just say it's going to be 5% more efficient than a dragon axe? Why do they compare it to the rune?
Because they want to make it as confusing as possible.
Yeah.
They want to how good is... let's break down the math here, guys. Let's see if it's going to be...
They're going to piss people off. They're just going to vote no because they don't understand.
Yeah. So the Dragon Harpoon will have a 35% faster catch rate when fishing at a harpoon spot, up from 20% from the Dragon Harpoon.
Crystal Harpoon,
Yeah, what did I say?
Dragon Harpoon.
Oh yeah, Crystal Harpoon, 35%. Dragon is a 20%.
Cool. I do love... Okay, so the poll question is, if Zolcano is added, should we let her drop Crystal Equipment Seeds as a reward? They definitely got one of the interns working on these names. They overworked interns.
They should just rename all the seeds to
Crystal Ore.
Crystal Root.
Crystal Diamond.
Diamond?
Yeah, let's just get rid of all the gems.
Oh wait, we already have diamonds in the can.
Yeah.
I forgot. Jesus Christ. So the main thing is that the pickaxe and the axe are 33% better. That's the way you want to look at it. If you want to really make it look a little...
Yeah, 33% better than Dragon.
Yeah. Vote no, because it's a big power creep. Hear that number? 33. It's a third better. 33% better. That's a huge... I'm totally kidding. Yeah, I honestly don't know how much experience you would get from doing this. I don't know. I don't know how much better they are, or if it's even if this unlocks new EHP methods, because you do have to, after 10,000 uses. You do have to go back to
So third age pickaxes and hatchet, they're on par with Dragon right now, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Let's look it up.
With all my third age pickaxes, all 8 of my pickaxes that I have, I have no idea. I've only seen one person with it, and I was super jealous.
Yeah, so it's as good as their Dragon variants, third age, but they don't have a special, so that's what makes Dragon better. I don't know. I hope they buff third age a little bit then with Crystal, because you never see anyone with it because they're so rare.
Yeah.
But on this, now if you have the money for one and you need to woodcut, you're going to go with Crystal. You're not going to be using third age.
Well, the main thing is that you only get 10,000 uses, So it would be worth it to, like, if someone was dedicated to, like, doing redwoods to 99, they could see how much time they could save wood cutting redwoods with the axe and how many they're going to need, and then see if it's a big enough time save to warrant buying the crystals and getting all the shards they need.
Yeah.
So it won't be too hard for players to actually figure out if these will unlock EHP methods or not. Well, not EHP methods, but like, because you're gonna be 1.5 ticking and stuff.
AFK XP methods.
Normal people.
Normal XP for normal people?
Yeah. Just depending on how you want to do it. I don't know if the crystal axe would affect things like blast mine or I guess volcano mining type stuff.
Yeah,
like,
pickaxe.
And the harpoon sharks.
Fashionscape.
Yeah. That's everything for this blog though.
Overall, if you could vote yes or no to everything in a bundle, what are you going to choose? You can't. Let's just say there's only one poll, and it's like, do you want everything in this dev blog, or do you want none of it?
I wouldn't vote.
You can't choose that answer.
I just wouldn't.
Such a non-answer.
You ever like ask like a kid, like well, I guess you were a kid too, but when you're younger, like a really silly would you rather, and they go, rather go to hell.
Yeah,
and you're like,
rather die. No, you can only choose one or the other.
Yeah,
I'm gonna choose neither. Then
yeah. Your penis is 1 inch inside your mom, but your dad's penis is 1 inch inside of you. Do you move forward? Do you move forward 1 inch, or do you move backwards 1 inch? But in all seriousness, though, it take me a while because I don't like. There's so many questions on like what the city would actually bring. Like, are we gonna get like how are we gonna teleport to the city? Is there gonna be a new item that's gonna sit in my bank? Are we gonna get new spells?
Maybe the crystal teleports.
Yeah,
the crystal seeds. Is that what they're called?
The crystal teleporting seeds that only work with Privinez.
Well, there are teleporting seeds.
Yeah, I think they're called like crystal teleport seed or something. I forget. But the thing is that they talk about activities, but the only 2 activities are these 2. And like my main question is one, the agility. Because, like, as of right now, I've stopped training agility because I'm hoping at 95 you would unlock, or like 98 or 97 you unlock this new agility course.
Yeah.
But what if it's better than, like, Sears? Like I'm like, because I'm at like 86 or something right now.
I hope it's better than Sears.
I don't want to like waste a lot of time at Sears and then find out, oh yeah, we just brought this in and it's better experience, you know? Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of wait for them to like talk about the rates. But I'm also thinking maybe this is literally an agility course that gets you shards where it's on par with, Brimhaven, and maybe it'll be linked to Western Diaries. And you, instead of getting tickets, you get like a bunch of shards, like 10 shards or something. And you have to do like a weird mini game where you're getting seeds, crystal seeds, and you're putting them in buckets. I don't know, like they have so many seeds.
Crystal seed buckets.
Crystal bird nests where you need crystal seeds, you know, like.
Why don't they use glass something? It doesn't always have to be crystal. Like glass armor is pretty iconic in the Elven lore across other games.
Yeah. I guess I'd vote yes, but I don't like the names.
Oh, yeah, me neither. Like Zolcano. May as well call like, I don't know, Crystal Seed Person. Okay, maybe not. Maybe Zolcano's a little bit better than that, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm pretty excited for this update.
Crystal Ash? Some sort of ash? I don't know.
Not bad.
Have some sort of lore, because it is Zolcano, right?
Crystal Glass? Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I will say though, this devlog makes me kind of excited for this new quest to come out, because Dragon Slayer 2 was such an epic quest.
Yeah.
That I'm expecting
a huge war.
Yeah, or something just like an amazing story to go with this quest, especially because it's like one of the biggest storylines in the game. This is going to end it. We finally, after all these years of wondering what the hell is behind those gates, we're finally going to be able to step in. It's going to be so underwhelming. But anyways, yeah, I'm pumped. Like, this is something that I'm going to want to do day one and just fully immerse myself. Who's going to die this time?
all I know is that like you do some stuff for like King Lathis, is it? And he's all like, "Hi, I tricked you. You did the bad thing. Ha."
Yeah.
Is it that dude? And like, that's all I know from the whole quest line. I don't know too much of the lore, but
I don't know too much of the lore going into Dragon Slayer 2, and that had me like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. The one thing I'm thinking of is that like it's going. I feel like with the Khazards and the gnomes.
Yep.
It's gonna be like that, but you're like I feel like it's gonna be a huge war. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're probably gonna have elves facing each other because there's a lot of that.
Okay, well, what about this? What if you're fighting the elves and you and your Ardugany, Team Ardugany, what if you and the Ardown Empire break down the gates, and that's how you get into Prifddinas, though? Oh,
like you do mass genocide on the elves?
Yeah.
Prifddinas is a human settlement?
Yeah, actually though, what if you go in that direction and they lay fire to the forest and open up a path? You can actually walk around the goddamn forest now, but because I'm assuming you're imagining I am too, but most people are imagining it as yes, the elves are the good guy, and you save them, and then, hey, everything's the same, nothing much has changed, but now there's a new city. But what if it's the other way around? What if we're the bad guys, and because you already helped him out, right? You've already helped King Lathis,
yeah.
But what if you go on this big rampage and you wipe out the elven city or the elven town, the camp where the fruit tree is? I forget what it's called right now. Tirwin or something, whatever it is.
Lilietta or something like that.
Yeah. Lilietta. I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
But what if you wipe those people out and then you appoint people to run that encampment? Or you know what I mean? What if it's an actual genocide and you're destroying the woods, and then there's Song of Elves Part 2, the elves come back, and then that comes out 3 years from now. But
they're all in Lumbridge. You gotta bring them back.
Refugees.
It's like an escort quest times 10 because you gotta bring them all back.
It's like that whole thing with the South Americans and stuff seeking asylum to America.
Yeah, that
whole political thing that's been going on, tear gassing them. But no, but I don't know. What if, because we're kind of assuming how the quest is going to go. What if it just goes in a super dark direction?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sometimes those leave you going wow, that's it's not a happy ending at all.
Yeah.
But it leaves you almost it can be more powerful. I remember I was reading, it was a Carnage comic. I forget what it was called, but it had to do with the Avengers. Basically, Carnage, we're going comic book talk if you're not aware, but just this dude who's an actual a serial killer, escapes from jail. He's in this he's a small town. It's a farm town thing. But he ends up going in there, and he has this symbiote, weird fungal alien fungus thing that, that's what turns venom into venom.
Okay.
And does the same thing with Carnage, but since he's just psychotic, he's just killing people all the time. Anyways, he ends up infecting a bunch of people in that town with it. And he basically can control them. He gets he just starts terrorizing people. I remember there's a scene where he's in the house, and he drops
upper deckering their toilets.
Yeah, that's so dark. And he clogged the toilets too. But he leaves pliers, and there's a bunch of kids, and he was I'll be back in 5 minutes. You have to rip out every one of your teeth before I get back, or else I'm going to murder your parents or something. So then he walks away, and the kids start yanking out their teeth with pliers, and it's super dark. Anyways, Avengers come in, they fight him and all this stuff, and they end up detaining Carnage, and they pull him away, and then it's the Hulk, or maybe it was the Thing. Anyways, one of the dudes is to Spider-Man, it's a happy ending after all, we saved the day. And then it was zooms out, you see the whole city, and there's dead bodies everywhere. And then Spider-Man's I don't think we saved anything.
Yeah.
And it was and that's how it ended. Super dark, tons of people murdered, and all they stopped was him murdering more people.
Yeah.
And I was wow, that was left on a dark note, which is it's refreshing, especially in comic books. Anyways, all I'm saying is it could be very powerful coming from this quest line.
Do you think it would be better if you're on, like, doesn't matter which faction's which that you're on, but if you're, like, attacking a city and capturing it, and that's how you unlock the city, or, like, you have to defend it? What do you think would be more fun? Because it's good, like, the way they phrase it, so it's going to be, like, an all-out big war. Like, I'm thinking 2 towers. I'm back in grade 3 only watching the battle scenes of Lord of the Rings with my buddies. Do you think it'd be more interesting or like a better experience like defending or like attacking?
I don't know, because I think defending is like the more typical route. That's what you're kind of rooting for. But if you're having to attack, that's interesting because you're doing this thing. You're like, I don't want to do this.
Okay. What if you had what if you could choose which instead of going the full Blizzard route where they just like, new expansion? Oh yeah, the Horde, they're bad guys. No, you guys are actually bad people now. And then like it's like actually, and then everyone gets the Horde like, no, I don't want to. Why am I the bad guy again? Like, why are we destroying the tree? Oh my god! Like the community was really pissed at Blizzard for that.
Is this recent?
Yeah, this is for like BFA, Battle for Argentina. But what if you had the option to choose to like which side you're gonna side with, and it doesn't change the players, but maybe like certain buildings would be instanced with different NPCs. Like you could create like I guess going back to WoW, but like Shathra, where it's like what is it, Aldor versus
Scryer?
Yeah.
Something like that.
We're like, but you know what I mean? Where you could still interact with everyone, every other player in the game, but maybe there's certain things that you unlock that aren't necessarily, you know what I mean, aren't better than the other, but they're just different depending on if you decide to attack or defend.
See, that's the hard one. That's where I sit there and being like, what reward do I want more?
No, but that's the thing. Like let's just say one's a rotten potato, one's, well, okay, no, that's a bad one because it's overpowered. But like a rotten apple and a rotten tomato. Like don't look at the rewards. Like just like you get to choose. Do you want to side with Ardown and like attack the city and kill them all, or do you want to be like one of the elves defending?
That is kind of interesting because there's like multiple types of elves, right? Like I believe it's the elves in Lilietta. They're basically rebellion forces against the ones that Prifdina has.
Yeah.
That's why they're down south, like they're kind of in hiding. And they have like, where's it, Camp Tyras? I can't remember. It's all kind of faded memory, but there are like some tribes that are hiding over the other ones. So maybe you could choose like help Ardone and place the rebel forces as the new people who are like gatekeeping Prifdinas, or the original, the ancient elves, should they keep their homeland?
Well, the one, because I don't know much of the lore, but I'm assuming Prifdinas is very uppity. They're very, how do the British say? Is it posh? Fancy?
They're yuppies.
Yeah, they're
so my grandparents used to say.
Yeah. But I think I'm looking for the word posh.
Yeah.
I think it's the right word. I really don't want the quest to be like, unite all the elves so they can win.
Yeah.
And if they do that, I'm going to be kind of pissed.
It does seem like with these new Grandmaster quests that we've seen 2 of them, kind of dark. Like, sure, in the end, everything's like you get what you do the mission, you complete it, but at what cost, right? We've lost some iconic people.
But is it going to be like a thing where like you have to go to Camp Tyrus and Lilietta and then Tyrwin or whatever, one of the main NPCs dies?
I think it'll be more of an iconic character. Like imagine that, like a wise old man dying or something.
Well, like spoilers for Dragon Slayer 2, but like Bob dies.
Yeah.
And Neve dies for Monkey Madness 2. I guess spoilers again, but whatever. We're like, they're kind of, the community kind of made it more iconic. You know what I mean? Like one was like a random event and one was like porn.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean though? Like, I don't know. I hope that they like get really create. I don't even know if like they'd actually be able to like have that much of a variance in the game. I just don't want it to be like gather, unite, defend. This person dies. It's okay though.
Still, man, Dragon Slayer 2 ends. It's a goddamn sad ending.
Yeah, I would just like there to be like non-quest guide. Like, you know, I don't want to sit there and watch Slayer Music 1's guide and just do it alongside it and be like, okay, like, I want there to be like, I have to make a decision.
Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah.
But like, it's not going to like affect my EXP. Like a personal, like,
who do I want to die?
Yeah. Like who should have, like, which camp should, you know, whatever.
It's interesting. I can't wait to see it. I know that I'm assuming this one's going to be on par, if not better than Dragon Slayer 2. Might be hard, but I just feel like, look at the bosses, like the way they've been designing these new bosses and raids and PVM content. You've seen the exact same trend going with the quests. The Grandmaster quests.
Yeah. It could honestly be super good, but they could also, if they need to, they could get this quest done in a day.
Yeah.
They could just like talk to these guys. Here's a cutscene, and congratulations. Like I know it's going to be a really good quest, but it also has potential to like you guys. There's potential for me to complain about it and give you every reason why it's bad in like a year from now when it comes out. But that being said, all in all, my only concern is that agility course, and that is if it's a rooftop agility, and that's just because of how it happened in RuneScape 3.
Yeah, okay.
If it's like actual content, where it's like equivalent to mulch fishing, where it's something new, let's bring something new to agility, then I'm totally down for it. But all in all, I'm pretty excited. One big PVM update, one big skilling update, all that good stuff. But yeah, anyways, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I think I already summed it all up. I'm excited.
All right, so let's move on then, I guess.
Yep, so we got one. Actually, there's like two more things to mention because I don't think I mentioned it in the last episode. Anyways, first things first, Jagex is up for sale as Chinese owners seeks to restructure. So 3 years ago, basically, Jagex was basically bought by Fukong Interactive, a Chinese company. The chairman of Fukong Interactive Entertainment stepped down at the end of December of 2018, which caused some changes within their company. So the Chinese company decided, or they've announced, that they have plans to sell part or all of their holdings in Jagex. So this article states that when they were first acquired by this Chinese company, it had to be appeared to be in bad condition, but since they were acquired, profits have been skyrocketing. So this article, it states that currently they're at 84.9 million pounds of revenue, which is, it basically rose by 14.2%, and overall profit is up 51%. So they're up 43 million pounds, which is, it says here, making it the best performance in the company's 18-year history. And then at the end of this article, a Jagex employee, Mod JD, basically stated that they are considering selling some of their assets, whether it's partially or the full sale of them. Whatever the outcome of the restructure is, it won't change how you or I play RuneScape or old school RuneScape, and it does not affect any of their plans as they continue to invest in growing Jagex, RuneScape, and old school RuneScape, building upon their record-breaking years even more so, and ensuring you all new content and updates we have in the works, in addition to the more quality of life improvements. Which is kind of interesting, because after being acquired by this Chinese company, many people assumed that pay to win was going to fall onto this game, but it seems like RuneScape 3 does have that.
Yeah.
They had it before, though.
Yeah, but they pretty much had a year of just microtransactions.
Yeah, that's true.
But remember when they released their like year plan and 90% of it was just like microtransactions?
Yeah. Whose idea was it to release that? But it's kind of interesting to see that, like, you don't think about it, but after Jagex got acquired by this Chinese company, we started seeing the dev team really get a lot of love, right? It's starting to grow, and even now, every week it seems like there's a new Jmod joining the team.
Yeah, I feel like this company had no effect. Like the Chinese company.
They probably just gave them some money, and they're like, make us more money.
If anything, they might have been like, okay, look, the people that are running your company were like just a bunch of nerds that played games and didn't know anything about business. We're going to teach you guys some business stuff. How to be good businessmen.
Yeah.
Here's art of the deal. No, but in all seriousness, like, if anything, they might have like, hey, we bought you guys, but here's how you not suck. This is how we conduct our business in general. Or maybe. Or it could have just been like conspiracy type stuff. Where like, well, I know in Canada, there's like a major Chinese company that's responsible for like the cell tower infrastructure, and they're leaving the country because they're not going to be a part of the 5G because we have shit internet.
This is the whole Huawei thing?
Yeah. And they're being pushed out. And then also because, like, Chinese companies are, like, kind of in bed with the government. And they're pushed, like, the Huawei thing. They had, like, back doors to, like, all the cell towers. They had access to, like, a good chunk of, like, the Canadian citizens, like, phones. And all this sketchy stuff. But, like, they're pulling out of Canada. This company's pulling out of the UK. I don't know if it's related or not. Could be.
It's interesting.
Because I know there.
You know, I'll cue up the music for this.
Yeah. Well, just in general, I don't know anything about, like, geopolitical, like, I don't know any of that stuff, but I know that, like, from the little bit I know and, like, heard on the news or, like, read, like, some shitty article was, like, there was some big trade deal that was going on, and then America pulled out of it, but America set up the trade deal, and it was kind of to counteract China.
Okay.
And then America pulls out of it, and then everyone assumed that the trade deal was going to just collapse and not not be sorted out, but then, like, we kind of sorted it out, and it was, like, a big thing, and Canada, I only heard of it because Canada's involved. I forget what it's called. I'm really bad with this stuff, so I could be butchering it. But then, like, China wanted to get in on it, and, like, the countries were debating on letting China in on it, because it was kind of, like, a way to counteract them, because they're, like, a superpower.
Yeah.
There's weird things, like, China, like, owns, like, a major port, because so many countries owe them money, and they're able to tax every trade, and put, like, tariffs on, like, countries that aren't related, but, like, they're going through their ports now, because, like, this country, you know what I mean? Everyone owes them money, so they're kind of, like, abusing their power.
Suddenly, they're taxing the dueling arena.
Yeah.
This is going to the Chinese gold farmers. They're getting a cut of those taxes, selling it back to us.
Yeah, it'd be like if, like, Alcarad owed a lot of money to Falador, and Falador was like, yeah, you know, we'll just pay us whenever. Oh yeah, that gate from Lumbridge to Falador, 10 GP tax.
Yeah. You make our money back tenfold.
Yeah, pay 10 GP each time you enter, but we get that money, and it's like, oh, okay.
You're supposed to be white knights.
Nice. That's I don't know. I could be wrong like 90%. I don't know. Just from what I've read and heard from, like, over the course of, like, last year, I guess.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's actually related to, like, this company selling. I don't know why you'd want to sell a company that was doing really poorly, and then now it's doing
better than ever.
Yeah. Unless maybe that's the whole purpose of, like, they're flipping.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably Jagex probably worth a lot more now.
Maybe Brexit has an impact too. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea either. But I do know everything that was said in this article
was incorrect because no, okay.
I just made it up. I wrote the article. You guys are all suckers. No, but it's interesting. We'll see some changes. But anyways, the last thing I want to talk about
is Elon Musk going to buy Jagex?
Yes. And he's turning it into a sci-fi space simulating survival horror.
We're gonna dig holes.
Yeah, we're gonna dig holes. But last thing I want to talk about was something mentioned in this week's Q&A or last week's Q&A. My mind is just so jumbled right now, and this episode's gone a lot longer than I expected it to. But anyways, someone had asked a question about, do you guys have plans, or what do you think about having another boss where magic is the main style of combat against this boss? There's about 5 Jmods sitting there, and one of them, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on all the names right now, but it was the new guy that came in, and he said if he could change anything in the game, he would revamp the clan system. He's the guy who was like a very skilled PVMer. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So he said the problem isn't so much that, like, magic isn't strong enough. The problem falls onto is ranged is overpowered. And he was like, so that needs to be fixed. It's not as much as buffing, or you just turn it into, like, Kraken, right? Where you're forced to mage it. So they went around and they're like, what do you think we should do? And every one of them had said, I think the blowpipe needs to be nerfed. The T-bow could be looked at as well. But blowpipe, 100%, I think we should nerf it. And that was out of the 5, at least 4 of them said it. I'm going off memory right now. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that, like I said, we could see it being nerfed soon.
I heard people talking about in the community about nerfing Black D-Hide.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. If I had to guess, I'm assuming it's just
Is this a meme post like the potato monster?
Maybe.
Boss.
No. If I had to guess, if they were to nerf Black D'hide instead of a blowpipe, I'm assuming it's because the stats it gives, coupled with like rigor, because like, the blowpipe's good and all that, but the big issue is how good rigor is and how like high of just stats like Arma and Black D'hide get. Like the armor gives like good range bonuses, but the blowpipe, the reason why it's so good, one, it's like rune darts and stuff, right? You can use rune darts. But the main thing is how fast it attacks, and that it's like like with the armor coupled like rigor, it's like exponential. And then you put in like a really fast attacking weapon, you're gonna be able to like get way more out of it in terms of, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Cause like using a rune crossbow is still really good. Yeah. Like look at rag ranging in PvP. It's really good. Like you like look at Deadman mode. It's a completely viable strat to prey range against your opponent or whatever, and you just or attack an opponent that's preying range in just ranger gear like Carol's and a rune crossbow.
Yeah, it's true.
So like I think range across the board has like always been good. Even like when I was a kid ripping free to play, like range was just better, like at level 1. You know what I mean? It's always better, but the main thing is like you have to buy arrows. Yeah. But it gets to a point where like it's just ranging as a mechanic in the game is busted.
So somehow they need to bring it down so it's on par with melee. I don't think magic should ever be the best, like one of the top DPS methods, because it's very utility based as well.
Yeah. Unless it's something like Fire Surge, where its only use is to do damage.
Yeah, but I feel like it should be like a situational thing. Yeah. But melee and range should always be like the top dogs.
Well, the game has grown to a point where like back in the day, it was balanced because you bought one scimitar, one scazmatar. Like you're in full rune, you put like a down payment and like you're tanky and you do some good damage. And then range, it was the middle ground, but it had a consistent, kind of a consistent cost of the arrows and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But then magic was like really strong, but it was really expensive because, you know what I mean? Like that's just kind of how, at least I looked at like the combats when I was a kid. Even though, we all know the combat triangle. It's kind of rock, paper, scissors. As the game is developed, not like through old school itself, just like in general, just like even if you go back to 2007, like as the game grew and the player base grows, the economy grows, you're able to like min-max and abuse certain mechanics, and just range as attack style has just always been consistently really good. Like even if you go to the free-to-play levels, like wearing full green D'hide and like, you're able to like, if you're training on like hill giants, it's generally a good idea to use range, even if you're not like, safe spotting. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. In general, like range is super good in every aspect. And like nerfing a blowpipe should be nerfed. But like, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but like, it's not going to fix anything.
Yeah, but I think it's just one way of trying to bring it on par. But I'm just happy that they're taking a look at it. And like I said, this might be the year we see it.
Yeah, I think like they might have to look at range damage as a whole and change like how damage has been calculated. Just like because it's overpowered in PvP, overpowered in PvM. Training it's like the fastest skilled. Like you black chin the maniacal monk, or black chin, red chin. You can't black chin if you're crazy, but like chinning the monkeys is the fastest defense experience in the game. Yeah. Like what? Yeah. Like that's ridiculous. So like sure, T-Bow and Blowpipe are super OP. Like I noticed, like you know that fucking like killing Hydra is just range. Yeah, in general.
It's used for everything. But.
Yeah, they just need to look at range in general.
And yeah, we'll see how that happens. Anyways, that's it for the news. Now it's where we go and teleport back to January 25th, 27th, and the 28th of 2001. This is the segment where we go back and look at some dev blogs from when the game first started, week to week as we do the show. So the dev blog released during this week, 18 years ago, yes. But it says, today it came to my attention that by drinking huge amounts of beer, players were able to make themselves super strong and could go and kill everyone. This has been fixed, so beer can now only increase your strength slightly.
Oh my, wait. So you could get like 20 beers and just once extra like level every time you drink a beer?
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
Many thanks to the person who told me about this. If you know of any cheats or tricks, let me know. I like how it literally sounds like one guy running this desk. And he's just stressed.
Like he's got a buddy being like, dude, this guy one-shot me. Really? How? Well, he was at the bar, okay? I think, okay, or like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
he's just drinking beer and then he just one-shot me. I don't know, like, because there's not even certs at this point in the game. So for this to like go down, I mean, no one knows the log-off trick at this point.
No.
Keep your stats from resetting.
I don't even think that exists in the game.
I think if you logged off, you lost your boost probably at this point.
Yeah.
But like, someone had to sit there and like drink a beer and be like, wait a minute, drink another one. Wait a minute. Oh shit.
This level 3 is one-hitting everyone.
Dude, imagine. That'd be fucking... That probably would be the fastest experience ever. You drink to 99, but you only have one attack.
Yeah.
And then you set your experience gain to like whatever, and then you just go and like find some. What would you kill? What could you hit?
Goblins, cows, other people.
Because there's no restore potions in the game at this point.
No.
So you'd have 0 attack, but if you hit like 99 strength, what if you went above 99? You could like drink to like literally just drink nonstop. If you found something with like high enough stats or health and low enough, like you could just sit there and like, I'm gonna one bomb him at some point.
Yeah, that's all you're waiting
then, like,
for.
Boom, huge experience drop.
It's bullshit. Anyways, next they did some tweaks to combat. So ranged combat, you now gain experience for each successful hit. I don't know what that means.
Maybe it was like you could splash an arrow.
I guess, but arrows now also fire 25% faster. This is where the problem
where it all began.
Fuck. They just thought this was how the game was. They didn't realize that it changed at some point. Magic, 4 new spells were added. Fear, Wind Bolt, Rock Skin, and Elemental Bolt.
What?
Yeah, I guess they were removed later on.
What's Rock Skin?
I don't know.
Do they specify what it is?
No. Bolt spells have been made much more powerful, and they no longer depend on your ranged level.
Jesus. This game would be so frustrating when you're in one shot by drunkards at a bar. You're training range so you can shoot your magic spells better.
Well, like, listen to this. This means each type of bolt now does a fixed maximum damage, and to shoot more powerful bolts, you need to use high-level spells. So I guess it was based on your range, so you could be like 1 magic, 99 range, and just hitting so hard.
Yo, check out this wind strike. 20. Got 99 range, bitch.
Next fix they did was for player killing. Due to a large number of requests, I've changed the way this works. First, you can no longer log out during combat.
Oh my god.
However, to compensate, I've made it so if you retreat in-game, the person attacking you is stunned for 2 seconds. When you die, you also keep your 3 most valuable items, but you'll still lose any food or money or spare weapons. But you no longer lose every item you have.
Interesting. Every world was a high-risk PvP world.
Yeah, it really was. And then lastly, a new quest was added. That's right, Vampire Slayer was added into the game. Anyways, let's take a stroll over to that Grand Exchange. If you're listening to this, you might also like listening to books, and you probably hate reading books because it's 2019.
Hey, I got $3 on my desk. I haven't started reading them yet.
Yeah, exactly. It looks good on a bookcase. Yeah. But if you ever want the content within those books, you can do that at audibletrial.com/wild. We get a free month and free audio book. audibletrial.com/wild. And, or you can directly support the show at patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our supporter of the week is Renn Gaiser. So thank you very much, sir, for directly supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. And we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. What if his name's actually pronounced Geyser? I know it's not. But...
Yield Geyser. I mean, it could be. I'm so bad with names. I mean, that's very apparent at this point. But, yeah. Anyways, moving on to some podcast news stuff. So first things first, you're probably wondering, hey, where's those lore parts? Well, we kind of fell behind in this dev blogs, and the lores can sometimes take quite a bit to produce and put on the show, so I want to get these out as fast as possible so we can catch back up. But we will revisit it, because next up is Vorkath, so that's what we're going to be talking about on the lore. But yeah, I'm hoping for next week should be kind of more back on track. Anyways, we are going to be having a hide and seek event where you will be able to, it's going to be hosted by myself and Magpie, where you're going to have to find Magpie somewhere. He'll be hiding, and you'll be given hints after every couple minutes or so. And yeah, the first 3 people there will get a reward, but there will be a bunch of different locations. Bale O'Hay was so kind to donate a bunch of money so that we can use that for events as well as drop parties and stuff. So again, thank you very much for doing that, because it's super kind of you, and it allows us to do these fun events where we can give some of that money to other people. So yeah, hide and seek. That should keep your eyes out on the Discord, Twitter, and Facebook. It's either going to be coming up in a week or the week afterwards. So definitely keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one. If you want to come hang out with us in game, that is WildCC. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thewilderness podcast. Our Twitter's @thewildernessrs. And our email is thewilderness.podcast@gmail.com. Our Discord server is linked on both Facebook and Twitter, but you can always bug myself or Deagin, and we will get you a link so you can come and hang out there. And Deagin, you got some stuff.
Twitch for Deagin RS.
Anyways, our song of the week is going to be Woodland. This is the music track that is unlocked at the Elf Camp. It was produced by Ian Taylor on September 2004. Yeah, alright guys. Thanks for listening, and till next week.
Yeah, have a good one.
Take care, everybody.